This is Remix Report with your hosts, DJ JD and DJ J Spring.
Today's video brought to you by YourDJSkins.com. Pimp your gear today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Remix Report. I'm DJ JD.
I'm DJ J Spring, and the unfortunate death of JD's last computer. We didn't have really anything last week, so we apologize, but we're back now.
Yes, I apologize very much. It's all my fault, all my computer's fault. We can talk a little bit about that after we do our normal beginning of talking about our weekend's gigs.
You guys can't imagine how much stuff and how many programs JD has on his computer to make this all work. So when his laptop goes down, it's not like we can just pick up my laptop, which has like 2 programs, Serato and some wacky picture booth that I take pictures with people in. That's really all my computer has. So it can't be replaced when JD's computer goes down.
It was definitely a pain, but let's talk about that in a minute. Let's first talk about our gigs over the weekend. Maybe even last week, if there were any big gigs last week. What did you have?
Was there? Well, we can talk about our Three Amigos Thursdays that just started up at Scorpion Bar.
Absolutely.
Which is myself, JD, and our friend Vinny Vibe. Is that his name?
Yep,
DJ
Vinny
name?
Vibe
Okay.
from Providence. Some people may know him.
So we started doing that, all taking turns throughout a Thursday night at Scorpion. So the first one was a pretty good turnout. Hopefully, if anybody from New England wants to stop by, hopefully this one will be just as good.
Yeah, every Thursday night, 3 DJs, 3 amigos, and $3 drinks.
JD bought me this awful, tight, very tight T-shirt that he wanted me to wear.
It's an awesome shirt. So
the shirt
definitely
is awesome.
check out the picture. Hopefully that'll be online pretty soon.
It was a very tight shirt that I refused to wear. He was mad.
It looked great. Let's see, where were you on Friday and Saturday?
I did Scorpion Bar this week, and I was at the beach. I was surprised they actually had me at the beach. It was like pouring on my way there, but I guess people bought a couple of the cabanas, so they still wanted a DJ, I guess. So it wasn't actually sunny for 1 second that I was there, so it was pretty slow. But yeah,
Not a good look for the beach.
no, not a good look.
All right, I was, of course, at Scorpion Bar with you on Thursday. Shrine on Friday. Definitely a really good turnout, actually, at Shrine. Not sure if there was like something special going on in the casino, but it was pretty slammed. Great crowd, too. Saturday, I flew down to Pittsburgh. PDC brought me down to Exit, which is a newer venue down there in Pittsburgh, right next to Static, where I got to meet DJ Strobe. Showed me some cool stuff with Tractor. He got the new, I think it's the F1 controller. Showed me some stuff with the remix decks and Tractor. Definitely some really cool stuff. So spun down there. It was definitely a great time. Really cool club and great people to work there. So hopefully I'll get to go back down there. Also got to catch up with Digital Dave.
Shout out to Dave. Shout out to all our Pittsburgh people.
Yeah.
Shout out to former Pittsburgh resident DJ Zimmy.
Absolutely.
Bonix. Who else am I missing?
Yeah, I got to hang out with Super Scott.
Super Scott, that's right.
McFly's down there. I know I'm missing people. And the one thing about Pittsburgh, I got to give them like some props on is they have a really tight knit DJ community.
They do.
Like no other city that I've ever been to. I mean, usually like DJs stick with their groups that they promote with, and they're really tight with those DJs, but they're not tight with DJs that are with like other promoters and stuff like that. In Pittsburgh, there's not really a whole lot of promoters from what I understand, so all the DJs are just really cool with each other. It's a really tight community, and
I got that feeling about Pittsburgh.
they're definitely lucky to be in that environment. So props to Pittsburgh DJs for sticking by each other. Let's see, I guess we can talk about the laptop incident a little bit. So my previous laptop, I just got a year and a half ago. In the last 6 months, it started giving me a ton of trouble. I had the I had the motherboard and RAM replaced twice since January already. Then last week, it started going crazy on me, not working. And
It's quite a sight to see JD sprawled out on the floor with his laptop open and all the screws everywhere.
yeah, it was kind of crazy. So I'm okay at troubleshooting those kind of things. So I did some troubleshooting myself, was on the phone with Apple support for like a couple hours trying to get things figured out, and finally figured out that it was probably another hardware issue. Brought it to the Apple store, and they saw that it had been giving me a lot of trouble lately, so they ended up giving me a brand new computer, which is awesome.
Do you think
definitely the right thing for them to do, and I'm very glad they did it.
Think anybody's gonna watch this and fake what you did to try to get a new laptop?
I don't. It's pretty hard to fake a serious hardware problem 3 times in 6 months with your computer. So basically, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. But they did give me a brand new computer and working very well. Did some upgrades to it recently. Also put a SSD drive in there. Took out the CD drive and put a 750 gig drive in that slot. So nice. It's a lot faster than it used to be, and it was just a real pain trying to get everything back up and running, like reauthorizing programs and all that on a new computer is always not the funnest experience.
You know what I always say: the less programs you have, you don't have to worry about that. So
true.
Keep that in mind.
I don't worry about that.
Okay.
I will say the week that laptop died, it died on a.
It was a Monday, probably Monday or Tuesday.
No, it was.
When else?
It was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It was after we shot that week, and but it really. I had to DJ every night that week too, so I didn't have a chance to bring it to the Apple Store anytime that week, and I had like a couple weddings and stuff that weekend, so I was like scrambling to figure out how to get things working, which that computer wasn't working at all. So luckily, I still had my 2 older computers, which is like a white MacBook Pro, or MacBook rather, from like 5 years ago, and a 13-inch MacBook from like 3 years ago. Luckily, I still had those around, so I got to get those all up and running so I could actually make it through the weekend, but it was not a fun experience.
You didn't use your other laptop, you used your other laptop. Okay.
Old, very, very slow, extremely horrible laptop.
It's kind of baller that you have 5 of them laying around.
Not exactly just laying around, but no. So I would recommend get AppleCare on your Mac computers, because it could come in very handy when you're in a pinch.
It's also going to come in very handy with my iPhone now that I can only hear the other person if they're on speaker. That's going to get fixed eventually. Yeah. But I do have AppleCare.
You definitely should do that. And 2, just because you get a new computer, I wouldn't say just automatically go and sell that old computer that you don't use anymore. Might be a good idea to have that hanging around in case you need it as a backup.
Yeah.
Especially if this is all you do, and like you have big gigs like weddings or traveling gigs that you absolutely cannot miss, then you definitely got to do what you have to do to make that stuff happen. So having a second computer of some sort to fall back on, always good. All right, definitely want to let everybody know, once again, we're going to be at the DJ Expo in Atlantic City, August 13th through 15th. So hopefully we'll see you out there. And if
at least one of us will be there.
Yeah, he'll be there too.
Okay.
And if you want to get in touch with us, let us know you're going to be around. We'd love to meet a lot of you guys. So definitely hit us up at remixreport@gmail.com. Put DJ Expo in the subject line. Let us know when you're going to be around so we can all meet up. All right, awesome. On to some news.
We have a lot of news to catch up on because it's been 2 weeks. So I guess the first thing we'll talk about is an article written by DJ Vice, where he highlights 6 vital DJ survival tips, which is mainly for the traveling DJ.
Yeah, this was on Maxim.com, so shout out to Vice for getting on a dope magazine like that. How to stay alive when you're away from home. So the first thing he said, 1, protect your ears. Use earplugs.
That's mostly for the flight he was referring to.
Yeah, so you can block out babies crying and things like that and actually get a little rest.
One good tip he had that I didn't really realize was you can actually drink your Red Bull before you're going to take a short nap, because I guess caffeine takes about a half hour, 45 minutes to actually affect you. So if you sleep for a half hour, you'll wake up really energized, which is a good tip that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Might have to try that. Easy access, I think, is all about your hotel room, like having 24-hour room service, things like that, because you come in at all times of night and need to do your business.
No, it's actually not at all what it's about, but I'll fill everybody in.
It's
more about, he said he always has 2 beds in his room, so he can throw his clothes on one bed instead of having to use the closets and stuff. He just has everything right there so you can pack up real quick.
So that's what he was talking about. Right, I was close though. Also a good thing though. 24-hour room service, always good. Have backup bells. You want to tell them about this too?
I actually do this also, and I was just telling JD how lucky I was, and I talked about hopefully I'm not jinxing this. So I think if you say that, then you're definitely not jinxing it. That I haven't ever woken up late to DJ, because when I was younger in high school, I did wake up late a couple times from my other job. You said you might have done that.
I've definitely done that a few times
as well. So have backup bells means have a backup alarm, which always set up across the room so you can't just hit it off. And I've been doing the same thing because I can fall asleep anytime, especially before I DJ. It's already dark outside, so it's easier to fall asleep too. So if I take a nap at like 7:30 or 8 before I have to leave my house at 9:30, it's easy for me to fall asleep. So I do set 2 alarms for that.
I will say, I've tried this in the past, and like in college especially, it didn't really work all that well. Because I would seriously just sleep through the alarm.
Both of them? Even across the room?
Across the room.
Wow.
I got notes on my door in college of people so pissed off saying, turn off your alarm. And I'd sleep through it for like hours.
That's awesome.
And it'd just be going and people would be pissed.
Maybe you need more than one.
Really annoying alarm is what you need. So, let's see, next was Power Up. That had to do with bringing enough USB chargers and adapters if you're traveling overseas and things like that.
That's
right?
Again, that's not what it was at all. It was you saying that hotel rooms don't have enough outlets sometimes, so bring that little thing you plug in that has multiple power sources.
There you go. All right. And
you want to take a guess for the last one?
Carry like a man has to do with only packing as little as possible. Like he said, he got through a 10-day tour, I think, with just like a pair of jeans and a couple shirts or something like that.
That's not what that was. No, I'm just joking. That's what that one was.
So yeah, get by with as little as possible. The less bags you have to bring, the less likelihood you have of getting one of those bags lost on a flight, which is never fun.
No, I'll have to worry about that about once every 20 years when I travel.
All right, next article is called The Branding of EDM. It was on billboard.biz, talking about all the EDM artists and they're getting sponsors. The different sponsors they're getting. Like a couple of the big ones were Aoki and Duran Duran together for Trident, and they just released some kind of song together recently. Yeah, it was Hungry Like the Wolf remix. Swedish House Mafia with Absolute Vodka. David Guetta and Calvin Harris for Coca-Cola. Dada Life, Arab Music, who I wouldn't necessarily lump in with EDM, but Adidas for them. Avicii with Budweiser, Ralph Lauren. Nero, Beats by Dre, and Deadmau5 for Sonos.
Hey,
so
if you're watching,
pay him. Tommy, pay him.
Be nice.
Also want to mention DJ Prievo, who posts on Remix Report a lot. He had a great blog post last week called Down to My Last Request. Definitely go check it out. He basically wrote up a fake request form, something we would all love.
Sure it was fake?
Yeah.
Looks pretty real to me.
Something he would love to give out to people at actual events. And just to go over a few of the things that were on this request form, it's 3 pages. So this would be something you'd hand out at a wedding. If someone came up to you, you'd be like, all right, fill this out. We'll see what we can do. Basically, it starts off asking, is this your first request of the evening? Yes or no. Name of the song, artist, name of the remixer, the BPM and genre of the song, current genre of music the DJ is playing, current BPM the DJ is playing, the priority level of the request, and do you plan on staying for the rest of the evening? All good things. Then it goes into personal information on the requester, your occupation, years in that occupation, how experienced are you compared to others in your field? And then it goes on to say, on average, how many times a day would you say that you take requests and advice from those not involved in your line of work regarding your line of work? And when is the best time for me to come to your job and observe you and give you advice on your job? Those are just a few things.
He compared it to a restaurant. If you were the cook and you're cooking the hamburger and then the customer's like, no, put on the mustard now, or trying to mix up how your order of operations. And I never really thought of it like that. That's a pretty good comparison.
Something else, when I was in Pittsburgh hanging out with the DJs after the club eating, someone said that they saw a post, or someone had said, you don't see someone at an amusement park go up to the roller coaster operator and say, hey, you got to let me on the roller coaster next. I'm about to leave. You don't ever hear that. But people come up to us with requests all the time saying, hey, you got to play this song next. I'm about to leave. And you never hear that in any other line of work. So it does get you thinking a little bit.
Very true. I've always said with requests, they don't really bother me that much. It's all the talking that comes along with it. And that's what if people would just line up, whisper in my ear the request, and then move on, I'd be very happy.
Yeah.
I like when I'm talking to somebody. I know people have talked about this a lot. This just happened to me. I'm talking, and the guy's talking to me. It's not like it was extremely loud and we couldn't hear each other. We're actually having a conversation. He's like, I have a song. He's like, let me find it. And for like a minute, he searched on his phone. He could have just told me, but for a minute, he looked on his phone so he could show me. I don't know why they do that.
I don't know why either.
Yeah,
it's weird. People are weird.
Yeah, to say the least.
All right. Want to let you guys know that we will be having an interview with Silver Medallion airing later this week. So if you know any of the Silver Medallion remixes, anything like that, definitely check that out. Coming up later, probably Friday. You said you had what's that?
Well, do you want to talk about the rest of the articles that we have before we get to this?
Well, sure, we can.
All right, yeah, let's do that because we got to catch up on some of the stuff from the past week, especially the A-Trak article.
Very good article on the Huffington Post.
Very, very well written. I wonder if he wrote it himself.
I think he did. He's a pretty smart guy.
Very well written article.
From what I know.
And he makes some good points, basically just touching on the dead mouse and the whole EDM thing in general with button pushers and the popularity of EDM. He talks about a lot of the subjects that we've been talking about, and it's definitely good to hear from someone like A-Trak, hear his thoughts on this. He didn't really go into if he thought dead mouse was a DJ, and he didn't really specifically say.
No, but he did kind of go into what he thought a DJ does and is supposed to do. A few of the good quotes that I found in there, which, I mean, the whole article is really good, so you should definitely go check that out on the Huffington Post. But he said, when a DJ mixes, his creative effort takes place on the spot. In contrast, for a performer like deadmau5, the creative tour de force takes place ahead of time, in the conceptual stage of his show. And he is then able to execute it like a theater play. Good theater is entertaining, it is moving and creative, and certainly has value. This is classic dispute of apples and oranges, and deadmau5 only mistake in his Tumblr post is trying to compare the two. I happen to know him, he's a smart guy and could take a joke. I also think he doesn't fully understand or care for what DJing is at its core, but that doesn't take away from his talent.
I agree, and he did talk a lot about how the need for the lighting and effects at those EDM shows. He understands really what some of those guys who use the lighting and stuff say, and it's impossible for us to play a non-planned set to go along with that lighting. So he definitely understands that part.
Yeah, definitely talked a lot about how that whole concert mentality of DJing has kind of changed people's perception of DJing and what they expect. It's changed from just going to a club and hearing a lot of music to actually like going and seeing a real show, a performance, which is definitely a different thing. A-Trak also said, real DJing lives when you witness someone play for hours and takes risks, reading the crowd and surprising them at the same time. Challenge yourself to challenge the crowd. And to all the new fans just discovering the genre, come to the shows with an open mind. Don't just wait to hear all the songs you already know. There's a reason you're not watching a band. DJing is still at the cutting edge of new music. Let yourself be surprised. Which I think is very true. I mean, I think he makes a good point. I mean, you should go with an open mind. And it would be best. Maybe
you should go with an open mind.
Shouldn't, but it would definitely be best if people went to any show with an open mind and just went to have fun and enjoy themselves instead of going. That
sounds more like a fantasy. That's like a fantasy world.
Well, it is a fantasy
that we know
Absolutely.
Doesn't. Because we know that when we DJ, people want to hear songs that they know and they can sing along to.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of times. I'm sure you do it. Every DJ does it. You play a song that you like, that you consider a good song, and you play it, and someone will come up to you and say, "What the fuck is this? I hate this song. I don't want to hear this. Play something good." I mean, you think it's a good song,
Yeah, but that's not our
just
job.
because they think it's not a good song means it's not a good song?
Our job isn't to play what we want, though.
Not always.
It's a guilty pleasure when we sneak in something like that, and we kind of hope it'll go over good. And it's
But
good.
if those people just had an open mind, you're going to play the next song you're going to play is going to be a song they know.
I would never in 100 years go up to the DJ and say something that stupid.
I know, but people do it all the time.
They do, and that's why we're not in a fantasy world.
I'm just saying, it's kind of ridiculous when people hear one song they don't know and they freak out about it when every song around it is stuff that they do know.
You know what really gets me is when I play like any song that has like a breakdown, or not a breakdown, when a house song has a sweep and just silence for a couple seconds, and then I hear somebody going, "What the? I can't dance to this. What happened to?" It's like, dude, really? Can we just be patient for 5 fucking seconds and the music will come back on? Really? Or for instance, like Seraphine's Free Bird mix, when all of a sudden it goes back to the original Free Bird without the Billie Jean drums for just like 5 seconds. It's like, can we just wait, be patient for 5 seconds, and then the beat will come on. You can go back to your silly dancing again.
Yeah. See, people are just impatient.
I agree.
They're not out there just to have a good time. They want to control as much as they can and just enjoy yourself. Go out and enjoy the music. It's fun. It's what it's there for.
I just want to hear levels, okay? So leave them alone.
Next article is one you found called Hey DJ, Fuck You. It's on Vice.com, no relation to DJ Vice.
This is actually a pretty funny article. I don't necessarily think the author of the article realizes everything and all the intricacies. Is that a word? Did I say
intricacies? Right? Yeah.
Intricacies.
But
I can't say that
the
word.
author is a DJ. He says.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like one who's into his craft as we are. He doesn't sound like he really has fully grasped the art of live DJing. He has a feeling for it.
Definitely.
But I mean, basically, what he's saying is it's very not that hard to do, and I actually agree. I know we both agree with certain parts of it. I do agree. One thing you have to consider when you talk about how good you are of a DJ is that you have to realize you're talking about yourself compared to other DJs. You have to realize that what percent of the population isn't a DJ, although that seems like it's only like 3% now. But whatever the population is that isn't a DJ, throw them into that too. When you say how good you are at this, realize that not everyone in the world is trying to be a DJ, so you're only competing against other DJs. And he's kind of talking about how everyone could be a DJ, and I can definitely see where he's coming from. He's basically saying we're not that special just because you can create a night with flow. I mean, most people in the world would realize that if they're a DJ, you don't play Annie Up and then play a slow song next, because people will be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he said anybody who made a high school mixtape for someone they liked can understand flow of music.
And obviously there's exceptions, because people always come up and make wacky requests when you're playing another genre. But those are just more people who aren't thinking like a DJ. They're just thinking about one person, and that's themselves and what they want to hear. So obviously subtract that from the equation. And I think most people who would take any job that you gave them serious, whether you told them, whether they were trying as hard as they could to be the best plumber out there, if you gave them 5 minutes of advice and they were trying to take it serious, I'm sure that would help them a lot. With DJing, I mean, how much advice would I really need to give someone to tell them how to DJ? Besides the technical stuff, I'd tell them, 1, start off mellow and build up to, once it gets busier, that's when you want to play the hot stuff, and that's when you want to play the harder dance music. And on a lighter note, for the most part, I would tell them, don't play all the hot songs too early. Again, you wanna save those for when everyone's there to hear them. I mean, if I sat down with someone for 2 minutes, I could tell them the basics of DJing, as long as they cared enough to take their job serious. Besides learning how to mix, they would have a decent idea of what they're doing. It's not like we're doing like rocket science, and I understand that. And
that's kind of what he went through all those basic things you would tell someone when they started, but he didn't go into how to beat match, like actual technical skills that you need to know to not train wreck between every mix. He totally skipped that part.
Well, he's talking about more the thought process, I think, behind DJing, and I can't argue with them.
Isn't rocket science, absolutely not. One thing he said, a 70-year-old blind Ethiopian leper with 10 broken fingers can spin just as well as any B-list celebrity at any in-store party for some gay snowboarding jean company. I promise. That, I mean, most B-list celebrities don't know how to beat match, anything like that. They just do exactly what he said in the article. And but they're not being booked because they can DJ. They're being booked because they're B-list celebrities. So it's a little different.
I definitely understand what he's saying. You know what's funny is that I can kind of compare this to DJing a little bit. One of my friends, we always talk about this, how it really annoys us, and I hope no one takes this the wrong way. It annoys us when I hear people with serious jobs whose lives depend on these jobs, such as police officers or teachers. Those jobs obviously are more important in terms of affecting people's lives than DJing is. I think we can all agree on that, and I totally understand that. I hate when police officers, teachers, when they say this is bullshit that actors get paid as much as they do, or that sports athletes get paid millions of dollars. I'm a police officer. I'm risking my lives for everyone, and I don't get paid. I get paid like 1% of
risking lives. They have more than one?
No, I said bastards. Police officers risk their lives.
Oh, okay.
Stop trying to...
Well, you said a police officer said risking my lives.
Are you going to start pointing out typos in my editorials now? Is that what the site is?
I just had to bring it up. It was funny.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
So anyway, it really annoys me, and we always discuss this, because they don't understand that everyone wants to be an actor and everyone wants to be an athlete because of the pay. They don't understand, if you took your average teacher, especially the average one who complains about not being paid enough, if you started paying that job $10 million a year, they wouldn't have the job. It'd be somebody else who went to Yale or Harvard, who now, instead of working as a chemist or whatever, an engineer, they would choose to be a teacher instead. And the competition for their job would be so high, they definitely wouldn't get it. And same thing with a police officer who complains that he should be making millions of dollars instead of the athlete. You have to understand that if they raised the pay of a police officer to $10 million a year, and one of the things they looked for was like athletic people who could chase after criminals and stuff, LeBron James would have your job instead of you. He'd be the best police officer there was. And shout out to Ryan O'Connell, who's one of our friends, who's a police officer who watches this. Maybe he'll disagree, but it does annoy me when I hear that.
Well, it comes down a lot to supply and demand. You know, there's not a lot of sports teams all over the place that people can play for, so there's fewer people that can fill those spots. So,
well, I mean, that's a whole nother time. There's all the money that goes. People want to watch. No one wants to watch you teach kids in high school. No one would want to watch that on TV.
Maybe if every town had a cops camera crew following them around, the cops could be paid more.
Well, there is a TV show called Cops.
I'm saying every town.
Every town. Okay, if it was a reality show for every town. Yeah, I could see that. But in essence, what I'm saying is that don't forget, when you're DJing, you're only competing against other DJs, and you're not competing against the rest of the population. Who knows? If everyone in the world had to be a DJ, think about the kids who lock themselves up and study chemistry in high school because they're so determined and focused on their career to get into that profession and get into the best colleges. If those kids started taking DJing, if they decided they wanted to be a DJ, they would go further in their career than we would, because they'd be spending
them. Think about all the like kid piano prodigies and like violin prodigies. I mean, they just sit there and literally practice all day, every day, their entire life, and they're ridiculous. There's not too many DJs that do that. I mean, A-Trak did that when he was younger.
Any of the battle guys,
Hubert, all those guys.
Scene talked about the time that he spent, I think, practicing his routines.
Yeah, anybody who has taken the DMCs seriously has done that kind of stuff. But that's very few people in the long run, and not a ton of those guys end up transferring that to like a club DJing career. A lot of the turntablists just stick with turntablism, and the few that do make that jump to club DJing and things like that are absolutely nasty most of the time. But a lot of guys choose not to make the jump. I think a lot of them probably think it's like corny or something to do that, or selling out in a way. But I don't know.
I guess one of the bottom lines here is just don't assume that we know more about, or we can do a better job of DJing than someone who's never tried it, because unless they try, you don't know that for a fact. And I know we're talking about the percent of the population that DJs. I actually have a funny story from this past week. This is actually a really, really funny story.
Can't wait to hear it.
I was at the Taco Bell drive-thru. Maybe he's watching right now. I was at the Taco Bell drive-thru, and there's a guy he always makes silly voices whenever I order food from there. What would
Which
you
Taco
want?
Bell is this?
This is the one in Groton,
Okay.
on Long Hill Road. And so I put in my order. I pull up to the window, and he's on the little headset. But I hear him talking to someone else there. It was late at night, so I think it's just anarchy there. They can talk as loud as they want. And he says to the other guy, this was a couple weeks ago, he goes, yeah, I'll be going down to AC in a month for work. So I just look at him, I go, you're a DJ? And he goes, yes. And it just kind of made me laugh. I mean, just that the guy who'd been taking my order at Taco Bell for the last years, he's a DJ too. So not that he can't be. He has every right to DJ.
Is he actually going down for the conference?
Yeah, he's going down to AC for the conference.
Wow.
So just kind of
That is awesome.
like, who else is a DJ that I don't know about?
A lot of people, I
I
think.
guess so.
Did you tell him you were going down?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I told him I might be going down there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's
We'll
going
have to
down.
see.
All right. Also, you wanted to talk about our Fake It to Make It post. You had something to add to
Oh yeah, I was just
to that.
one of the things that annoys me the most when we mentioned this is on Twitter. I was actually just cleaning up my Twitter because I tend to follow all the DJs that follow me back. I look at it as they're extending an invitation to be friends, and I accept that and I follow them back. But I reached 2,000 as a limit until I have over 2,000 followers, so I had to start deleting it. And I started deleting like all the rappers who just follow me, probably so I would see their bio and their links and stuff. So there's no need for me to be following them. So I started unfollowing them, and I was also looking who else I was following, and there was a lot of people who I could tell that followed me just so I would follow them, and then sneakily they deleted me after that from they stopped following me, so now I'm just following them.
Those jerks.
There are programs, I guess, that alert you when someone unfollows you. I don't have one of those programs, so I wasn't able to know, and all this time I was just being one of their numbers following them, and I meant nothing to that person.
Oh,
And, yeah, very sad. No,
okay.
that really
It's
actually
okay.
really makes me mad. 'Cause that's so dirty to do.
Oh man, you mean all these rappers are just using you?
No, it wasn't rap. That's the whole thing. It wasn't rappers. It was DJs were doing it too.
Those DJs were using you?
Some big name DJs that you guys will know resorted to those tactics, which actually
Wow.
really saddened me.
So you went and did some of those same tactics. So you unfollowed some people, you told me.
I did, but they were people who had followed me first, then I followed them. Do you understand? I'm talking about deleting people who...
Do you think that would make them any less upset that they saw that you unfollowed them now?
No, because their whole intent was an advertisement, was following me so I would notice them and listen to their music.
But now they know that you don't want to be interested in their stuff anymore.
I never was interested in their stuff.
So I'm just saying, I don't think they're any less upset.
Well, I don't feel bad for those people at all.
All right, we also found a few funny things on Facebook the last 2 weeks. There was this rappers through the years showing
Ice Cube, Ice-T, and Snoop, just how their careers have progressed from them being just straight gangsters, and now they're in like kids movies and stuff. I thought it was a pretty funny.
it
picture.
shows 4 pictures of each. Picture of them in high school, picture of them at their early career, mid career, and
At their most gangster point in their career.
get most gangster to their now least gangster. Definitely, I think Ice Cube's was the funniest, where it shows him in the movie.
Well, it started off with him in high school. Then it shows him when he sang the song "Cop Killer," which, for those of you who are younger in our audience, this was probably one of the most controversial songs of my lifetime. I think it is probably the most controversial song of my lifetime. I don't know if it came out right after the riots or before, but a song called Cop Killer, just about killing cops. And obviously his album got pulled from the shelves and everything. It was very controversial. And it went from a picture of him when he sang that to showing him in Law and Order, which is kind of funny. And now he's on a reality show. That was the last
it's Ice Cube. That's Ice Cube.
No. That
Or
was
Ice-T,
that was Ice-T.
Ice-T.
Oh, we're talking about Ice Cube. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Ice Cube has showed high school to when he was with NWA. They sang the song "Fuck the Police." Again, apologies to Ryan O'Connell if he's watching. From that into I think it was like a Disney. Are we there yet? That's
the last one was him in a movie where he's wearing a life preserver.
That was the last one.
But
Him in the movie "Are You There Yet" was the third one. Then the last one was him wearing the life jacket. Yeah.
Very funny.
So I'm sure you guys.
Or was it Friday?
I think it was some other movie with the life jacket.
I'm
pretty sure it was Are You There Yet.
Anyway, definitely funny to see the progression of some of those guys. I mean, it shows how people do grow up and mature or just change as you grow up, and especially those guys with money. You can't always be the gangster that you were once you have all that money.
Another funny picture was the mashup one with Pauly D and Paris Hilton. I thought that was pretty funny. Someone sent that to us. So what else? We have, should we talk about some of the stuff we have coming up on our site?
Yeah, we definitely should.
We're going to start doing the remix highlights on Tuesdays from now on. So Mondays is going to be our weekend recap alone. And then Tuesdays, we're going to do the remix highlight video. And one of these days, maybe we haven't decided yet, we're going to start doing a tip of the week. I'm going to do one more geared towards playing in the club, I guess. And you're going to do one more on the technical side.
Yep.
Okay, when I say technical, I don't mean technical DJing in the club. I mean technical.
More like computer tip that might help you out, Serato tip, Ableton tip, just something more computer-based or equipment-based, possibly.
I can't wait till someone writes in the comments, here's a tip. Why don't you guys learn how to fucking DJ right or something like that?
Can't do it now. You preempted them.
I did. I'm like, that's like when Eminem in 8 Mile said everything that the guy was going to rap about him before he started and ruined his whole freestyle. I just did that for all the haters.
I loved that too in that movie. That was awesome.
Yeah. That's what I just did. I just did it. What was his name in the movie?
8 Mile album.
No. What was his name?
Rabbit?
No. Was it Rabbit?
No, the other guy was Rabbit.
Yeah. Forget Eminem's name in the movie. Anyway.
Yeah. If you know the name, let us know down there in the comments.
Or we could just look it up on Google afterwards.
We could, but that's too much work.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so stay tuned the rest of the week. Also, Silver Medallion interview airing on Friday.
You know what? There really is no need to ask anybody for advice. I was on Facebook the other day, and I was trying to do something in my Serato, and I forgot how to highlight something, like all in a certain playlist. And I Facebook messaged our friend Audio One, and right after I sent the question, I'm like, fuck, I'm a retard. I should have just looked it up. Google. And it would just take like a second. You can ask Google anything. Google knows the answer. So I felt bad after I asked the question, but he helped me out anyway.
Command A.
Yeah, Command A.
That's it. There's your tech tip for today. We'll see you later this week. Once again, comment right down there or email us at remixreport@gmail.com.
See you guys.
Remixreport.com